Hey everybody, this is Dana with CoachDanaInspires.com, and we have Patrick McGowan from Punchin as our special guest today. And we are here on business inspiration, and we're so happy you're here to get a little bit inspired to keep moving. We are cruising through this COVID thing, so we want to inspire you to build your businesses and to make a difference in the world. And today, our special guest is Patrick McGowan, and his company is Punchin. And today, we're going to be talking about adopting a video first strategy for your business. This is exciting. Patrick, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dana. Thanks for having me on your show.
Wow, so glad you're here. Love your work, love your content, and I think our viewers are really going to enjoy what you have to say about video. I mean, we are on video, so this is exciting. Um, Let me ask you a question here. You've been talking to your business clients, your colleagues, people that just in general, you go to conferences and things. Now that we're a year and a half out of COVID, what are they saying? Are they positive? Are they feeling good about it?
People are mostly feeling good about it. I think we're all excited to be able to meet in person, to have that human contact, and to be around other people. So it's really exciting. At the same time, people realize that they are getting in touch with people or connecting with people over video first. And so while, we're really, it's not so much the hybrid. I mean, hybrid has a lot of connotations, but for the most part, people are excited to be in person, but also realizing the benefits and the efficiency and the effectiveness of being able to connect with others over video first.
Right, right. I like the video. There's so many people are what's not maybe afraid. I hate that word, "Ugh," but I mean, some people are afraid, but some people are just very standoffish. Oh, I don't want to see myself on video. What do you say to those people?
That's a great question. So, one of the things that I share with people, number one, is if we can do a little bit in terms of repositioning your camera, if we can do a little bit in terms of improving the lighting. One of the mistakes a lot of people make when they do lighting, they're either underlit or overlit,
Mhm.
and then they position the wrong light, or they position that lighting in the wrong location. So you always want to have the lighting at about, or at least start with having your lighting at about 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock if your camera is at 12 o'clock in front of you, right? And then the third piece is really getting your audio up a level. So when I work with people, it's always about how do we get to the next level that actually begins to represent the value of the product and services that you provide, that you deliver.
Right.
And once they get in front of the camera and we work together, people are actually reporting, man, I really like being on this side of the camera. It just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit more know-how.
Right. Yeah. And Patrick, this is shocking to you. I know, I'm an extrovert and I'm super happy going, hey, everybody, I'm here. Woo. Uh, and so many others are not. There's very
Yep.
standoffish, very unsure. And I think the first step is to just start doing it. You just have to start.
Yeah. You have to start. And that's where just doing these little tweaks, we make minor adjustments on our side in
Hmm.
order to have more impact on the other side,
Right.
right?
Love it.
So, and it's just going to be, I have found in my own work and in the work of my clients, it's a fine tuning. It's a fine tuning all along
Sure.
the way. But you're right. Get started, produce it, send it out, get feedback, do it again.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you, Patrick, for that. So as entrepreneurs and business owners, we're out here, you know, video strategy. What should we jump into? What should we put our little toe in first? What's the jump?
The jump point, for a lot of us, it's going to be Zoom, but it's not all about Zoom, right? So here we are on a live stream. A lot of people are doing more recorded videos. An interesting area that is over the last couple of years that has really begun to develop a lot is little videos that you can embed in your emails.
Yes.
And the open rates are significantly higher with one of those over traditional emails. I forget the exact stat, but I do know that they do get it. They do have an increased open rate as a result. And so when you combine these two ideas of better video, we're not talking about super polished. We want to keep it genuine and real. At the same time, we want to make it easy for our clients, prospects, and audience to be able to watch us and want to watch us. And so when you combine better video with these different channels, you realize that you have a lot of opportunity to connect with people.
Yeah, and I think that's very true. And I'll just use myself as a example is, if a Facebook post, we'll use Facebook because I'm that age group. If a Facebook post is too wordy, blah, 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 I just don't, I don't have time. But if it's
Right.
someone that oh, it's Patrick. Oh, he's got a short video. Oh, it's only a minute and a half. Yeah. So you can say what in a minute and a half, much more and much more inviting, I think, on a video than blah, 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 blah. Because
Right.
I won't read it. I just don't have
Yeah.
time. But I will take that moment. And that's one reason why these interviews I do are only 25 minutes, because people don't have an hour and 2 hours to sit around. So I think that's really a good point, Patrick. Thank you so much, that we need to engage better, and video can help us do that. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. So what are you hearing and seeing regarding video now? Things are opening up, people are getting back together. So what are you seeing more?
Yeah, so I think we're seeing just a slight downtick in the total number of Zoom videos that people are on, which only presses the point that when we are on Zoom, we got to make it count, right? That'd be number one. I think the other would be the realizing that there's a number of people who, like ourselves, who do a lot of work from home. So speakers, authors, coaches, consultants, anybody working from home has this opportunity to really invest in and commit to better video now. And the reason why they would want to do that, one of the things I'd like to say, and one of my top 10, within my top 10 of realities for video in the 21st century, is we use our vanity as a force for good. But specifically, we're not using that as a force for good just for ourselves. We're actually using it as a force for good in order to help our clients engage with us, to connect with us. So when we take away all those distractions and everything, it really makes a difference in terms of people's ability to not only to get their attention, but to keep their attention. So I think that that's where people are realizing, because it's so efficient and so effective, the next level is, okay, let me make it better. Let me make it more engaging. Let me do it in a way that people that really respects my audience. So it's that next level, that first part of the pandemic, we all were thrown in to this. We did the best we could. Sometimes the equipment was there, sometimes it wasn't. And we made it work. But it was talk about sort of critical mass. It was a great opportunity to really just throw ourselves in there, see what worked, what didn't. Now the question is, how do I make it better? And that's where people are today.
Yeah, well, okay. So Patrick, on that same note, what do you say about, we've been on Zoom for all this time, and what do you say about the folks who show up to a meeting or start a meeting, and it looks like they just discovered Zoom yesterday? I mean,
right,
it's like,
right.
What is this? Hello. What do you do with those folks? How do you help them?
Yeah, well, first of all, people are always, a lot of people will say, well, please don't judge me because of my background, right? I often will joke, and hopefully this translates, but often I joke, well, I won't judge you, but I may mock you from time to time. No, what we say is it's, let's just realize that how you show up on video, number one, it's really comes down to the question, what are you saying before you say a word? And so when you show up, I mean, obviously, Dana, you've got the colorful brick background, you've got the lighting, you've got the energy. There's a lot you bring to your video work already that says, oh, hey, this is about inspiration. This is about motivation. This is about how do we do better going forward. There's a lot that you're saying just by how you show up on video. And I think that that's where we all need to come to. The different situations. I will tell you right now, I don't show up looking like this for Sunday Family Zoom.
Sure.
So I've got relatives in New York, Minneapolis, Denver, all over the country. We all try to get together for an hour on Sundays. And I look like I just came in from mowing the lawn most of the time. And I'm using the craptastic webcam on my laptop. It's bad kitchen lighting. The dog is barking. I mean, it is super casual. So,
Sure. Yeah.
but that is not what professionals do. That's not what leaders do when it matters. You would never show up to a keynote looking like that, or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't try to manage your people when you look like that, because you're not giving them any incentive to pay attention, because you haven't put the work in, the preparation
Right.
to really capture their attention. And then what are you doing other than sort of throwing your weight around a little bit to say you have to pay attention to me, right? We want people to pay attention to us. When we can get them to a place where they're inspired to pay attention,
Right.
boy, there's a lot of miles we can run together when we do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe that I mean, I get on Zoom I sometimes I Zoom from my kitchen and from the dining room table, and yeah, that's much more casual. And I do have this particular background, but I also have a wood panel. So if I were
Hmm.
giving a keynote, if I was doing training, a corporate training, then I would have the wood paneling.
Right.
Because I think that's what I want to project, and I love that. Thank you so much for uh saying that. At least I was sort of on the right track and trying to do those things. And so okay, since we're talking about kitchens and dining rooms and
Yeah.
things, what do you think about virtual backgrounds? Give me your honest opinion.
Well, number one, I'm not a big fan of them, and that's coming from experience, having started with virtual backgrounds. They can be fun in the right situations. Number
Hmm.
one, I will give them, and there are certain situations, although rare, where having a virtual background is the right thing and the safe thing to do. That aside, I usually have three things that I tell people that if you're going to do a virtual background, and this really applies to all backgrounds, but particularly with virtual. Number one, your virtual background can't distract from you and your overall message, right?
Yeah.
And so if your virtual background is distracting in any way, that's taking away from your content, because we are so visually, we have such visual acuity. Any movement or anything like that is an immediate distraction, and so we got to really be careful about that. And so there was an example of a virtual background. I think my brother sent me a while ago, and it was a guy with the headset on, and behind him was a giant octopus, and it looked like it was eating him. And to be able, to think you're going to stare at that for the entire meeting, fun for a while, but not exactly effective for work. So anyway, number two, then if you are going to, again, if you're if you are going to do a virtual background, have a green screen. Otherwise, you may suffer from what I call the Van Gogh effect, which is you're going to lose an ear every once in a while. Not exactly the most attractive thing, and it's you want to be careful with that. Again, that goes back to kind of rule number one about distractions. Rule number three that I look at for virtual backgrounds is it really has to be on message. So anything you have in your background has to support you and your brand, your content, your messaging, all of that. And again, going back to kind of rule number one, is it distracting or is it helping to promote who you are and what you do? If I were to put one more piece in there in terms of virtual background, it's okay if it's personal, but be intentional about that. So I have a few things. My bookshelf is not nearly as intentional as it has been in the past. Because there are several flat surfaces. I suffer from the curse of flat surfaces, which means they will collect things. But for the most part, it's, oh, hey, and just in time, the working from home crowd, my dog is barking at the, probably at the UPS guy, as we're talking. But anyway,
Good dog.
it's
Good
this
dog.
idea. What's that?
Good dog. Good dog.
Good dog. Exactly. So, it's a question of being intentional about your background. If you've got a set of, Princess Leia and Han Solo, bookends, bring them out. Make sure that they're part of that because that's part of your personality. And I think that all of those pieces help to invite us into the space that you're wanting to create so that we can work together.
Right. And so this is not a virtual background. This is truly your bookcase and truly pictures that you like. And this is who you are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot. And I've seen lots of backgrounds, not virtual, but real backgrounds. This one particular gal who's on a repeating meeting that I'm on, she must live in some kind of fantastic house because it's not virtual because she moves during the hour. She sits in her chair and she's like going like this with her laptop. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna throw up. I mean, it's just like I am getting so dizzy, and the lights are either in her face or backlighting her so you can't see her face, and it can be so distracting. But when she sits still, and behind her, beautiful wood bookcases with all these beautiful books. I mean, it's gorgeous, and I'm like, please sit still and keep that behind you because that looks really good. Stop moving.
Yeah, no, it sounds as though she, one, particularly when she has the window behind her and she's backlit like that, I always refer to that as somebody trying to be part of the witness protection program, or a Dateline, a Dateline interview where they're trying to hide the person's identity. And you combine that with bad audio and it's exactly like a Dateline interview.
Yes.
But then the other is my question for her would be, how does moving around support your brand? How does that reflect, I understand, we're all kind of multitasking, and that's probably one of the hardest things to do on a video meeting is that you've got your monitor up, and when we have our monitor up and we're looking at it, we're thinking, oh, I have to do work, not have a conversation. And so there's a little bit of compartmentalizing that we have to do. But when we realize we're doing better video now, not just for ourselves, but particularly for our clients, prospects, and audiences, for what they can receive from us, not just what we get in return, right? But what they actually receive, what we believe we have something of value to give to others, then let's make it easy for them to digest that.
Oh, Patrick, I like that so much that why we're doing this, it isn't for me, it's for them. It's for the viewers. It's for who's watching. It's for my clients. I like that attitude. I think that's a really great way of looking at it. I want to have a better video because it's kind of like my gift to the audience.
Exactly. exactly. And it's,
Yeah.
I initially did this for very selfish reasons, kind of full disclosure moment. I went down this path because I really did not like how I looked on video. That's where I started. I started for very selfish reasons because I felt like I looked like a potato. And it was awful. And I had a green screen. And this picture from the end of March 2020, I mean, it's so bad that the light is reflecting off the green screen and coming onto my,
Oh
pasty
no.
South Dakota skin. And so you see me with a green cast. Not only am I a potato, I'm a green potato, um, which is not the type that you want to do, work
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I moved down this path, and I had it in my head what I wanted to be able to accomplish. And so, really building on in some ways my journalism background, my graphic design background, my marketing, communications, and sales, putting all of that together and coming up with this solution. Because now what I've learned even about myself is when I know I look better, I feel better.
Yes.
And when I feel better, I do better. But I can't end it there, right? So to your point about kindness, at the end of all of this, or the real purpose for all of this, the real purpose in my belly for all of this is, what is it that the other person is receiving as a result? Why pre-pandemic did we fly to prospects locations to have an in-person meeting with them? Let's go ahead and do the same thing. Let's make that investment today, make that commitment today that we're going to do the same thing over video. Why? Because it's for their sake. There's something that we are able to give better when we've eliminated the distractions to be able to engage with us. We have to differentiate ourselves. We have to position ourselves. And so much of that is happening even before we say a thing.
Right.
It's
Wow.
all for them, and it's all for them now.
I hope the viewers out there are getting this, that when we're on video, when we're meeting, whether it's Zoom or some other platform, that we really are doing it, not so much for us. There are those people who are doing, that's them, that's fine. But most of us really want to reach out and really touch our clients in a really positive way. And that's what you're saying. And I gotta say, I love it, love it, love it. And I
Yeah.
am the kindness person. So I think it's really fits in with, and I never thought about, I want my videos to look good because that's being kind to my clients. But if I'm asking you to look at my video, yeah, it should be watchable and easy to watch and not, oh my gosh, yeah.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
my number one rule, and I love the fact that you're the kindness coach, Dana. My number one rule for all of this is better video is an act of kindness. I wrote that down, and it just makes sense.
wow.
The thing is businesses. What's that old rule? Help me out here. People do business with people they like, know, and trust.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then so now the question is, are you achieving those three things over video? Can
Ah,
they like you? Can they get to know you? Can they trust you? Right? So that would be one way to think about it. The other is when we really look at it from a kindness standpoint, it's that old adage that our moms used to teach us. You're going to have to help me out here because I always trip up. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
absolutely.
And you combine that with the old rule of movie making, which is if you can say it without words, do that. So when we
Wow.
show how we show up on video and who shows up on video is just as important as what you bring or what you say.
Yeah, Patrick, we could be talking for another hour. This is such good stuff. Now, I do know that you have a book coming out. Is that
I
correct?
do. I do. I
And the
do.
title
It
of the
is
book
it's in
is,
Better Video Now.
okay. So we are going to have you back when that book
Hey.
is on the shelf so our viewers can get this information. And in the meantime, do you have a list of 10 or something that
Oh,
our viewers can get from you?
yeah, I would love to send them what I've put together as my 10 realities for video in the 21st century. So if anybody would like a copy of these 10 realities, feel free to email me at patrick@punchin.io, punchn.io. And that would be great. I'd be happy to send this out to them. I'm not going to harass them or anything like that. Afterwards, if they would like a copy of those 10 realities, that'll be perfect.
Excellent. Wow, that's so gracious of you. Thank you so much for sharing that information with our viewers. And let's show them your email again. It's patrick@punchin.io. So if you want that free list of 10 great steps, ideas, tips, all this good stuff from Patrick, you want to just email him, just say, give me your list of 10. Bam, you've got it. Now, I do hope that, Patrick, that you do let these folks know when your book comes out. I think that's very important. I would love for our viewers to know when that is available. And we are stinking out of time, Patrick. What happened? Whooshoo! I make it 25 minutes because we want it to be short and sweet, but man alive, there's so much to say. So, Patrick, thank you so much. Thank you for being here and sharing your expertise. Folks, go get your list of 10. It's free. It's going to really help you a lot. And in the meantime, I am Coach Dana Inspires, and there's my information right down there. It's over there, or it's over there, whichever way the camera's going. I get all confused, Patrick. But if you have questions about the videos, questions about the interviews, you wanna be interviewed, please let me know. I'm more than happy to have you on, and let's talk about it. Patrick, let me tell you, you're coming back when that book is published, okay?
It's a date, Dana.
Okay, super great. Thank you so much. And everybody, we'll see you next Tuesday on Business Inspiration. Bye, everybody.